It was pretty strange. I was at a football field. My son started playing football when we moved from New York, and I had a serious headache. And I approached a gentleman that happened to be the coach, and I said, "Hey, sir, do you have any Advil?" And he says, "No, but my wife does." So he called this lady over. She came over, said, you know, what happened to you? You know, why you have a headache? And I said to her, well, I was in a car accident, and I have a severe neck aches. She goes, have you heard of MonaVie? And I says, yeah, I think I have a bottle at home. But I wasn't looking at that point. I just wanted her to be quiet and give me 2 Advils. And she shared the opportunity right there and pointed to a meeting which we went to. And that's how we got involved in MonaVie. When we got invited to a meeting that Steve and Gina were doing in Palm Beach Gardens, I dragged my wife. I told her we were going to church. The meeting was in a small church. So when we got to church, she couldn't swear, scream, or punch me because we were in front of the Lord. So she went in. Steve did the presentation. My wife says, we're not doing anything. Our sponsor invited us to their home and says, as a follow-up, what did you think of it? And I was all in. My wife was kicking under the table saying, we're not getting in. And, and I looked at my sponsors, and they had a brand new home. They had a boat in the backyard. They had 2 brand new cars, and they own a business. We were driving an old van. We had 5 jobs combined. We had no money in the bank. I'm like, this couple cannot steal from us. So why don't we go on faith and make it happen? And we put up our last $374 to get involved in this business. My wife was kicking me. I put the credit card up. It went through. But the real reason why we did it, and we were forced to do it, my son had a severe stuttering problem. And prior to meeting Susie in Orlando, we went to see a speech therapist or pathologist, and they said that it was $100 an hour for sessions and $250 consultation free. And I says, we couldn't afford it. So when MonaVie came into our hands, we said, you know what? This vehicle came into our hands for a reason. And when we got involved, that's why we did it. We put our last $300 up. My son, 4 years later, we can't shut him up. He went from not saying his name to gaining weight because of the stuttering. Thank God for RVL. He lost 80 pounds, like 80 pounds now. And his speech is 100%, all because of making an extra $100 a week. That's why we got involved in this business. It was really to bless him. I tell you, I think that the MORE project is, I think, what holds us together. Because I tell friends that 4 years ago, we were struggling feeding our family. And 4 years later, we were able to sponsor a child in Brazil and be able to be a blessing to that individual, because we know what it is to struggle. We know what it is to go hungry or to be hungry. So I think the MORE project is the glue. I think the day we stop giving, we stop growing. So yeah, the MORE project is a huge part of our business.
I am Jenny Navoa, and I am MonaVie.
I'm Joel Navoa, and I am MonaVie.